Hello, and welcome to another episode of the Quantum Bridge today. Hi, Casper. That's a nice wave from yourself there.
Double wave.
Yeah, double wave. Yeah, and where's the cat? She was there a minute ago, wasn't it?
Yeah, my cat will come back, no doubt.
Come
during
back,
the
yeah.
production.
So today it's great. We've got a returning guest. I'm looking forward to this one. Probably a very timely conversation for everybody. So, Casper, no more delays. I'll pass over to you, and you can introduce our guest for today, please.
Yeah, well, hi, Dennis. Lovely to see you.
Hello.
Again. How
Hey,
are
great
you?
to see you guys again. Yes.
I
I'm
would do a
great.
big intro, but everybody knows you by now, Dennis.
I'm doing great, guys, for sure. I'm very
Excellent.
happy to be back to see you guys.
Yeah, really good to see you as always, and thanks for coming back. So I'd had a sort of download idea, whatever we want to call it, that maybe
Okay.
we touch on this area of we've done the two world split, but it's whether or not, are we in a final minute to pick a lane, Dennis? Where do we find ourselves in this current timeline with everything shifting, all to play for in January, a lot of world events taking place? How are you feeling? What are you tuning into at the moment?
Well, I'm just tuning more that we're like, we're getting very close. You can see by some of the world events also. It's like at the almost at the blink of, bye-bye world, you know. And this is all because the planet is rising. The planet, they will not be able to destroy the Earth, but they can trying to create enough fear that everybody will be on a lower vibration, tense and scared and all this other stuff. Okay. With America and Russia and China and Ukraine and all these things. They try the reason why they try to do that is because the planet is rising. Now, the current vibration right now is quite heavy, which means it's forcing people to say, well, either you are going to let go of all these some of these idealisms about how you should live and just allow and let go, or you're going to go into super heavy worry and fear at this time because the energy is like that. It's very tense. I'm sure your public can feel that for the last month. It's not like it's not so much like the normal Christmas, let's put it that way. It's a lot more heavy, more introspective, more coming to conclusions about how we want to, how do we want to be, how does the family want to be, where is it going, and so that creates a lot of tension and worry. And the thing is, you want to let go the steering wheel, which means allow God to just drive it, because God wants the best for you anyway. And many times we get in the way because we go into a low vibration of fear and we start to act and start to do things that actually get in our own way more than the actual thing we're afraid of.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was just going to say that we touched on for a moment before we came on camera this idea of free will versus fate, and you said a very nice bit about the fact that we can choose our frequency, even if there are certain events that we may not be so easy to completely miss out, or we might experience them in a different way if we're managing to keep our own vibe higher. I thought that was particularly important for me, actually, but I'm sure for others at the moment. So anything to elaborate on that was seemed a very poignant message.
Yes, because when you keep your vibrations high, first thing you change timelines, whether you know it or not. And for people who don't know what timelines are, they're just options. We change timelines, I found from the other side, every 3 minutes. Okay, timeline is just an option. That's all. It's a parallel. You can call it parallel universe. You can call it whatever you want to call it, but it exists, and through whatever vibration you choose, we go on these different timelines, and we can experience this things, but in a nicer way if we're on a higher vibration, and then in on a fear, scary way or horrible way. Okay. It's like it could be you could be in the same apartment building, one apartment building, they're screaming, they're panicking, they're going crazy. And no, that's on the third floor, but on the first floor, it's nothing but plants and calm waters and everybody's happy. But it's in the same apartment, which is like we're on that earth. But that's the whole point. So when you choose high vibrations, no matter what, you are pointing yourself on a nicer timeline, period.
I think
And
that's something I noticed, Dennis, that opened my eyes in that sort of 2020 period. That you can have one event, if you like, that's affecting the whole world, but everybody is experiencing that single event in a different, unique way. Like
exactly,
you were saying with the
very
build, so like you're saying,
exactly.
you might be you may be using that event to, I don't know, become empowered or something, and then your next door neighbor can be terrified. Like you say, like you're saying with the buildings and the floors, it really opened my eyes to this sort of thing that and that we can choose.
Yes, exactly,
That it
exactly. You
is
can choose
it
what.
is a choice, even if it doesn't. Sometimes it might not feel like it in the moment, but that's also something that I learned through that particular process. That it's a choice. You don't need to be scared. It's there are these different options. That's how I look at it. And yeah,
Yes, exactly. You can choose what floor you want to go on.
yes,
That's the whole point, you know. If you know on the third floor there's all kinds of crazy things and fear and screaming and hate and blaming and judgment, you don't have to go on that floor. You always have the choice. And this is the thing, God gives us all the choice here on earth and after. We always have the choice. Now, destiny is something that we make a plan before we come here of some things we would like to experience, but it is not written in stone, which means that it will come in your life, but you still have the choice to say, I changed my mind, I don't want to experience it, even if I signed up for it. Okay, we always have the choice. That's why I mean, that's one of the things that makes God and being a God so wonderful. Is that we have the choice. And this is and going back to this whole situation, as serious as they try to make it, it is a game. It is still the Matrix. And it is a game. And the game can get serious. They can tell you certain things, put it on the news. They can make a lot of people think one way. But like you were saying in 2020, you really could see that some people were having a great time in 2020 and some people were having the most miserable time.
mm,
And they could have been living right next door to each other.
mm,
And that's a perfect example of what I call vibrations and timelines.
yeah,
That's a perfect example. So that's why I'm saying to your public right now, things are going to be increasing. The energies are increasing, but please try your best to choose a positive vibration. Doesn't mean let your head in the sand. It just means if you have to look at something negative, look at it, then move on. Don't get caught into it and don't get caught into low vibration conversations about it because that's just bringing you down and bringing in, even with people you care about, friends, family, and partners. You don't want to stay on low vibration conversations because that brings in sometimes bad imagination. You're imagining all these horrible things, you're imagining this, and the person you're imagining about or the people you're imagining it about, it's totally the opposite, or they're not even in that direction you think they're in. So you want to be on more positive vibrations. And as far as timelines go, and yes, we're getting more closer and closer. You're going to find that it's going to be eventually be harder and harder to jump on higher vibrations, um, to jump from low to high vibrations. That's the point. Um, because when the Earth gets close to this split, that's when she does split, you won't be able to jump. You'll be either stuck on low vibrations or stuck in high vibrations. And you want to be more stuck in high vibrations if you don't like the roller coaster ride.
I suppose the big question comes, and anybody watching this will be saying, or might be saying, well, when? Obviously, because things are all in a state of flux, and because time isn't quite how we've been sold the concept of time here, it is tough to say that. But I think all of us feel that is very imminent. How imminent do you think that this the two worlds split and the inability to jump back is now, Dennis?
Oh, I think we still have about maybe 2.5 years, somewhere around 27.
I mean, I think it's not.
I think we have, but it's each year is going to escalate. That means next year is going to be even faster, and then 26 is going to be even faster. And by the time we get to 27, I think that's when we'll probably be at that the end of 27, at that tipping point.
Sometimes it sounds like a short time, but I think the point you made there of things speeding up. So it's become sort of compressed. And I mean, the way I look at it, I see people being maybe calling it squeezed to make choices, quicker than they maybe were in the past. It's sort of,
oh, definitely,
like you say, that tension of, you sure, which way do you want to go? Like you say, getting more and more crazy, if you like.
Yes.
To help people, and I do see it. I have to say, when I just observe, and it's perception as well, because I'm not sure if you're aware of this. They had this whole thing recently here where they were adding sort of additives to the food supply, feeding cows,
yeah,
sort of thing that stops them passing wind to save the world. But there's this, there's this big uproar about it here. But I try to explain to people from what is the result of that? From that, a lot of people have become more aware again. They've gone to local farms. They're buying organic. That sort of
right.
shit. So you've got
Exactly.
to look at, where is it moving you? That little event, it's helping you choose a lane, like we're saying. So.
Yes, exactly. And this is the whole thing about this heavy energy also. It's going to help you to be more aware to choose a lane, because it just feels so heavy. If you want positive vibrations, you really have to really focus and make an effort towards that direction. Otherwise, you'll slip into the natural mode of the energy field that's happening now, which is heavy, tense, and worried. That's the natural feel. But you can get around that by noticing it first, noticing how it is, and noticing, well, what do I want to be in this? Do I want to go through this all over again? Tense, heavy. I'm tired of that. So if I'm tired of that, I'm not going to go that way. And and what I'm worried about, I'm going to release it. That means whatever happens, what's going to happen, I'm pointing myself in a happy direction. And I'm going to trust the universe, God, source, that's going to guide me. I'm going to trust that for once.
There's a nice aspect to that, Dennis, in that why else would we be here? Why else would this wonderful, benevolent creator God, and that we are part of, right, be playing this game if there wasn't at least the opportunity of that direction amidst the madness? Because to choose low vibration is very easy, very quick, and you can just slip into it. To choose this higher path is tough, right? But it has to still be there. Otherwise, there isn't a game, actually. We don't have the game. Yeah.
Exactly. And you'll see that it is a game. Because I mean, in the natural things, I mean, God is only love, only power and positivity. So this is the game that we chose to be in, but the option is still there, like you said. It's still there and it will be there, but it's gonna change at one point when the split happens. Because when the split happens, that's kind of gonna be like, well, we're out of time. Because now it's split, and now the 3D Earth is going to go on its evolution, which I don't like to get into too much. And the 5D will continue its evolution, which is like so wonderful that you can't even imagine, because you'll have the Earth. For once, everything, all knowledge is going towards humanity, not being withheld, not for the rich, not for, it's all going towards humanity. There will be no poor people. There'll be no need for killing. There'll be no need for jails. There'll be no need for even governments. There'll be no need for none of these things. There'll be telepathy. There'll be communications with extraterrestrial directly without all this silly investigation UFO, and we just found out, even though we know you found out maybe 70 years ago, or even past then, back in the Egyptian days. So it'll be no more of that, no more secrets, and that will be absolutely amazing.
Mm.
But meanwhile, back on the ranch, where we are at this point, um, we really have to, it's asking us to really get into the habits of higher vibration. And what are those habits? And those habits are recognizing when I'm on low vibration, recognizing if I'm turning something in my mind, that if it's causing me to be on low vibration, rather it's worry, rather it's uh, poor imagination, rather it's suspicion, rather it's uh,
Judgment.
judgment of someone else.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. That's great. Really, yeah,
Mhm.
exactly. That I know what to do about it. I'm going to do this, or I'm going to sit in the nature, or I'm going to change the channel, go into think of something more happy, or do something more happy, something that brings me pleasure. Rather it's watching Bugs Bunny, or rather it's having my favorite meal, or rather it's having a wonderful interview with you guys. We doing it. We go into action and we recognize it. And that's the whole point of this right now. But yes, things are increasing and it will increase. So as you see, it can begin to feel to even get harder to get to those high vibrations. So that's why it's so important to try to be in the habit. Try
I
to
think
get
it's
in that
good we
to the
have this
habit.
discussion, Dennis, because there could be externally the sense that, and also people see a window into our lives, right? They see us on this, and of course we're in a certain mode, and we're trying to screen out other things and whatever, and we might come across like these whole ravages of being in this game don't really touch us as much, and it's all a bit easier for us when that's entirely well, certainly speaking for myself, it's entirely untrue. Right? I'm as much caught up in the game as anybody else. So I think it's really good that we sort of touch on this area of we're not just sitting here saying to everybody we're sailing through this. Why aren't you doing it like that? But we're saying
No.
that even
Mhm.
with these insights and these wonderful conversations we have with yourself and with other guests and whatever, we're still being pushed and pulled and finding this difficult. So there is no judgment here.
Well, I think of it like this. Imagine you're on a boat and you have a map to a treasure, and the map is going to tell you how to get there, but you're in a storm and you have two paths to make. You can either go through this particular direction on this map, or you have another map that can go through this direction. And the thing is, we are in that storm and we all experience, even me, even if I have all the knowledge or all the things about how to get to that treasure, I'm still in the storm with everybody else. And I'm still in a human body, so I'm feeling what everybody else is feeling. Maybe I might say, okay, I know a little bit what to do about it. Put the sail up north, put the stern that way. I know what to do about it, but I'm still in the storm with everybody else.
Mm.
Okay,
Good
but the
point, because
difference is
I,
the difference
I've
is
been in
I'm not gonna panic in that storm because I have the map. I have the map of how to do it. I'm not gonna panic in that storm, but I'm still in the storm. I still have feelings. I still can be tired and maybe slip into the game and be like crazy like everybody else, be worried and feared like everybody else. But I know I have the map and I know what I do when that happens. And that's what I want to offer people because things are going to increase. We're going through some heavy winds and storms.
It's a nice way of
So
putting it.
so we want to give you and offer you the map because we're going through it like you are. But we want to offer you the map so you can know what to do when you're in it,
think
so
that's
you
the
don't
thing where
get
I've struggled
lost.
sometimes, Dennis, is that there's been moments in my life where I'm just consumed in that storm and
Yes,
I didn't know any way out,
right. And this
Even
is
when
what
people would
makes
say, well, do something you enjoy, and I'm like, I'm too in it. I don't know, where's your happy space? I'm like, there isn't one. I don't know. you know,
yes, and
think
this
of
is
that
why
time
I
when you was
tell
really happy, and I'm like, I don't
yeah,
remember one. So it's kind of it's I think it's important what you say there now, having these tools of somewhere else to go, like say changing the channel, changing the frequency, avoiding those things that are dragging you down. I see a lot of
low
people,
vibration conversations. Yeah.
yeah, all
Mhm.
that stuff of just saying no. And I do see a lot of that now where people, you could say the collective has shifted slightly, where there are people that will just keep doing the same old narratives that were once
Right.
appealing. People are now moved past it, and some have stayed the same. It's quite interesting to watch that, like whole waves of people moving beyond some that have just stayed in the same spot. It's so I think
Yeah.
we're
Well,
making progress.
no, as a collective, we're definitely making progress because we're having conversations like this. And many other places are having the same different same kind of conversations where that was never before. It was like taboo. So the collective is definitely headed higher vibrations. But yes, some people will choose the roller coaster ride and they will refuse to change and they will believe whatever the news says and whatever the narrative is. And that's their free will choice. But my thing is, try to make your options um, to have make a list of different options when these moments will arise, because they definitely will arise more often now as we get closer to the big shift.
Mm.
And as we get closer to that, it's going to be very important that people know what to do when they feeling lost in the storm, because it's going to get quite stormy before the calm, before it settles. So um it's important that they know, you make a list of 10 things that automatically make you happy, that you can do. You know that nature is a natural healer and a natural vibration raiser. It will raise your vibrations naturally. You don't even have to think about anything. Just be in the nature. um Little things like if you have bad things that happened to you in the past, don't go back in the past, whether it's true or not. Some people use that, oh, it's true, so that means I can think about it. No, don't think about it. If it's the negative, don't go back there. It's not necessary. It's going to bring your vibration lower. So these things are, just realize that we've also been programmed for years and years. So sometimes the habits may come back. Don't be hard on yourself if you find yourself on low vibrations, but know what to do about it. That's the whole point. And live in the present. Don't live in the future, no matter how bleak the news wants to make it, or oh, this could happen, that could happen. I mean, the sky could fall. Of course, all these things can happen, but also nice things can happen too. Everybody can come together. Peace can happen. Russia can not go to war. America cannot go to war. I mean, Trump can win. You know, a bunch of different things can happen. So, the main thing is stay in the present, keep your vibrations high because we are headed towards many different storms. And the more you're focused on this higher vibration, the more you'll be used to going to it, the more easier it may get for you to know automatic. Oh, I do this. I'm changing the channel. It's going crazy again. Let's change the channel. Okay, so we change the channel. And that's it. And that's your free will. Use your options. Do not be pushed around by the energies on this planet, by the matrix because they want, remember, fear and worry, they want you in because that's when you can be controlled. That's when your vibration stays low and your brain just goes into a loop. This could happen, that could happen, why I feel bad, this is bad, that's bad, or why this person is acting like this is bad, why this is that. It just continues and continues. And you get stuck in that loop.
The
So
funny
you
thing,
want to,
Dennis, I don't know
yeah.
how you feel about this, but there is also a sense that despite you could argue this is one of the toughest times, I think that's probably just true, right? Or toughest timings. But, let's say it's 2027 because I'm a big fan of the number 27 and it's my birth date. So I like the
Oh,
fact
get down, get
you've chosen that one, right?
down.
So I'm into 27. But let's just say that towards the end of 27, we're in it and we've made it and we're in 5D sort of full time. I'm not saying we'll want to come back to this, right? But I think that this could be looked back on as a really, I'll use the word incredible. I didn't want to use the word interesting because that has other connotations, but actually this thing of going through this and sort of something, I don't know if it's perversely delicious about it, right? But there is something about having been through this that we might look back on for a long time and sort of understand at a deeper level how important it was to have this moment in time.
Well, first thing, this is the most amazing time in history and in this universe and in this galaxy. First thing, there's extraterrestrials even coming here, getting their popcorn, watching this. Okay. Second, uh, this we chose to be here at this time that we could experience this because this will never happen again. Never. So it is closing, it is wrapping up, and we're going to experience this change, and it's an amazing change. Um, they they used I forgot the name of this program they had, but it was something about they could. I believe they have some time machines. I still believe that, and I think in history we've been probably visited by people from way in the future. But my thing is, they had this thing, I think it was one of the agencies, I don't know, FBI, CIA, whatever, whoever.
A bit like Montauk and things like that, right?
Yes, yes, where they had this looking glass, that's what it was
Yeah, yeah,
called.
yeah, yeah.
And they could see in the future, and they saw that all of a sudden, all the timelines collapsed into one. And it didn't matter what happened, they collapsed into one, and that something happened to the people, that there was just peace and love, and nobody knew. They couldn't explain it, and they couldn't manipulate the timelines anymore. That was another thing, because that's what they were doing for probably many years. That's how they always get there, who want to win and who they want to lose or whatever for politics and wars and whatever. But they couldn't do it anymore. I think around 2012 or something like that, they saw that, hey, all the timelines are collapsing. What's happening? Why? And no matter what timeline they tried, they saw that it would collapse. It was always going into this one thing. And that
There
for
was a
me is
bigger
the
game in
shift.
town, Dennis.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, exactly. Exactly. And they can't control it. And now that's what they realize, that all these things they're trying to do, and all this fight for control, it's not going to work. because you can't stop the earth, you can't stop God.
The funny thing is, they still have to play that out,
Mm.
even though they
Yes,
know what.
exactly.
Yeah,
Yes, they definitely will play it out because
yeah,
that's also a part of the incarnation role that they wanted to play
yeah.
in
They've
this
done a good
game.
job of it being bad. They've been very
Oh,
good at being bad.
oh yes. Oh yes, they did a quite good job,
Yeah.
believe me. And because believe it or not, for every soul that's horrible on the game, it's quite difficult for them as a soul to do that. It's more of a heavier responsibility to play the opposite of what you are.
I
We
think,
might find many of them end up with us in 5D then.
well, yeah.
Oh, well, yeah. I mean, the changes, like I said, people will be making those choices. I
Yeah,
mean, and it'll be surprising. Even people that we thought would never make that choice will be making those choices,
yeah.
But everybody won't be making those choices. But a lot of different surprises. It's not like only the spiritual people are making the choices or only the people who are concerned about spiritual things. No, 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 no. It's going to be everyday Joes. They're just going to wake up and see. They're going to wake up. Yeah, they're going to see that. Hey, this is not what I want. I see where it's going. I'm tired. I want something more.
Well, they're very welcome.
Mm.
Exactly. Oh, definitely. Everybody is.
Yeah.
I just think on as we sort of have to sort of wind this up, we've only got 5 minutes left, but I think there's another important point that you made about the imagination. We did a show on this specifically.
Hmm.
A guy called Alpine we did on, and the I don't think that people should belittle themselves of that they are creators, of their own reality as well,
Yes,
and the
exactly.
collective is. And if not to limit the mind, that you have to become aware and expand it. And if you don't know about that little bit of treasure, then you don't know where to aim, sort of thing. You have to become aware that that is an option. Like you said, that there is a positive. There has to be,
Right, right.
it can't, it's not all doom and gloom. There has to be an option
Oh, there is.
that
Yes,
we
exactly.
can create and sort of aim our ship or car or
Yeah,
consciousness
our
in
focus.
that
Yeah.
direction.
Hmm.
And we
Hmm.
shouldn't, like I say, we shouldn't doubt or belittle our ability to do that. So maybe on closing, how do you feel about that?
Yeah, well, I mean, that's just very true. I mean, we have these options and we always will have these options until one point.
Mm,
And that's when the split happens. And see, the split, and we still had the option, but if we continue to choose low vibrations, we are choosing. It's not that we don't have the option anymore, we are actually choosing. And this is why it's so important, programs like yours, to get this information out, to get people to just even listen. You don't have to believe every word I say, but you can listen and look at your own world and judge for yourself. Do you want that type of world or do you would like to have a different type of world? And if you do want a different type of world, you kind of have to do things differently. You can't do the same thing and expect a different outcome.
yeah.
you know. So your programs are highly important for the humanity, for the collective, and for the individual. And this advice and information that you're giving out is so important. And that's why I really love you guys, and that's why I really love what you're doing. Um, and people right now, it's every year, every month, every day, it's going to be more important because we're getting to that envelope where the earth is going to say, okay, you've been choosing this low vibration for a long time now, and now I agree with you. You're going to have that low vibration, and I'm leaving. So you see, so that's why it's important. Now, again, I must emphasize right now, it's not about being perfect, which means that, yeah, once in a while you may slip because you're in this human condition. But if generally your general vibration is on a higher vibration or more often, most likely you're going to continue to go more often on a higher vibration. Um, and not get too caught up in friends, loved ones, partners, if they're going in low vibrations, not get too caught up in it, with low vibration conversations. But it's going to increase. So this is why it's important, this interview or this podcast right now, to get this information out that yes, we're going into some stormy energies, not all, but a lot more. And it's going to be more important that we know what to do in those storms, that we know what things we need to do, which is change our vibration, change the way we're thinking, change our words, because our words have power, not engage in low vibration conversations, be have a list of things that we can do when we know that the world is just too much, everything is just too much, responsibility, family, friends, whatever, partner, whatever. If it's all too much, we know what to do. We have this list, rather it's meditation, rather it's just a good conversation, rather it's just cartoons, or rather it's just sitting in the park somewhere in the nature, raising your vibration,
Well,
or
for
rather
me,
it's
it's a big piece of cake and a cup of tea. So that's
yeah.
very English of me.
Mhm.
Well,
But we
that's
are
all
running
good.
out of time now, I'm afraid, Dennis,
Yes,
as
yes,
usual.
yes.
So, thank you
Well,
very
Thank you, Dennis.
much again.
hey, well, it's been great, guys.
You're
It's really
always
been super
welcome,
great.
and you always raise our vibe. Thank you.
Well, you guys are wonderful because of the work you're doing, and your honesty about your personal lives and sharing that with everybody. Because, like you said in the very beginning, we're not just sitting on a cloud and saying, "Hey, we're getting through this, okay," but you guys, no, we're in it like everybody else.
Yeah.
We're having these things. I had to fight hard to do
Absolutely.
high vibration things in the last 3 or 4 weeks, because it's been so heavy. So I had to go more often to walk in the nature. I had to go more often to to watch Bugs Bunny.